You are the longest animal that has ever walked on land, 90 feet, nose to tail tip. And right now, that is doing absolutely nothing for you because an Allosaurus just clamped down on the last 6 feet of your tail, and being long does not mean being fast enough to pull it back. Rule number 1 of being a Diplodocus: never let anything get behind your tail. You just broke rule number 1. Welcome to the afterlife. You've been reincarnated as a Diplodocus, somewhere in what will one day be called the American West, about 150 million years before anyone names it that. Let's rewind. Your mom lays you in a shallow pit alongside dozens of your siblings, in a rough circle, the same pattern paleontologists have found preserved in fossilized titanosaur nesting grounds half a world away. She doesn't sit on you. She doesn't guard you. She covers the nest with a thin layer of vegetation and leaves. Because a 16-ton animal lying down next to an egg is not protection, it's a crushing hazard. So you're on your own before you're even born. When you hatch, you're barely the size of a house cat, and the entire ecosystem already wants to eat you. That's not a metaphor. Juvenile sauropods this small show up in the stomach contents of animals a fraction of the size of the adults you'll one day become. Your only strategy is the same one your mom had. There are dozens of you, and the math only has to work for a few. For the next few months, life is one long game of not being noticed. You keep low in the underbrush, you move in short bursts, and you eat constantly because size is survival and you have none of it yet. Then one afternoon you catch movement in the ferns. A Ceratosaurus, maybe 6 feet at the shoulder, exactly your size class, exactly the kind of predator built to pick off something like you. You do the only thing you've got. You whip your tail. It's still short, still weak, barely worth calling a weapon. But somewhere in your body, the blueprint is already there. Adult diplodocids have around 80 vertebrae running down that tail, tapering into a whip-thin tip, and researchers who modeled the physics of it found something wild. A full-grown tail crack could send the tip moving faster than the speed of sound, loud enough to produce an actual sonic boom. Right now, yours barely makes a snap. It's enough to startle the Ceratosaurus for half a second. Half a second is exactly how long you need. You survive, but survival buys you nothing except the right to keep growing, and growing is a full-time job. You eat almost constantly, and your teeth are built for exactly one purpose: stripping leaves off branches, not chewing them. That means your teeth wear down fast, and nature's solution is almost comedic. You're replacing them roughly every month, keeping a constant assembly line of fresh pegs pushing up behind the old ones. Underneath all that leaf stripping, your skeleton is doing something reptiles twice your age can't do. Bone studies on sauropods show tissue that looks almost like it belongs to a mammal, packed with blood vessels, laid down in fast, dense layers, where a crocodile might take decades to inch toward adult size. You're on pace to reach most of yours within 20 years. By your 5th year, you're already the length of a school bus. By your 10th, you could look a giraffe in the eye without trying. Here's the problem. Bigger doesn't mean safer yet, it just means a bigger target that's slower to hide. One evening you're grazing near a fallen log when the ground actually vibrates. An adult Torvosaurus, one of the largest predators sharing your world, closing in fast. You're too big now to fit in the underbrush and too small to fight head-on. So you do the one thing you've been building toward your entire juvenile life. You plant your front legs, swing your hips, and crack your tail like a bullwhip. It connects. Not a killing blow, but enough force to make a 700-pound predator reconsider its whole evening. Rule number 1, and this time you didn't break it. By year 15, you've hit real size, somewhere around 10 to 16 tons, which sounds enormous until you remember some of your titanosaur cousins in South America are pushing 4 times that. You are, by sauropod standards, the lightweight of the group. And there's a reason. Your vertebrae are riddled with air pockets, hollowed out like a bird's, which keeps a body this long from collapsing under its own mass. You've also figured out how to eat efficiently, which matters when you need hundreds of pounds of vegetation a day just to keep the lights on. Unlike some of the taller browsers in your world, you're not built to rear your neck straight up into the canopy. Research modeling the range of motion in diplodocid necks suggests yours moves more like a leaf blower than a crane. Your nostrils sit high on top of your skull. For decades, scientists actually assumed that meant you spent your life half submerged like a prehistoric hippo, snorkeling through swamps to escape predators. Turns out, that theory hasn't held up. The pressure at any real depth would have crushed your lungs, and your feet were never built for wading. You're a land animal through and through. The nostril placement is just an accident of skull architecture, not a lifestyle choice. And it's a good reminder that even paleontologists get proven wrong sometimes. Life as a full adult means moving in loose herds, following the same seasonal routes year after year, because late Jurassic North America runs on rain that comes and goes, and so does the good vegetation. But when mating season hits, none of that matters. Winning a mate here isn't about fighting, it's about proximity, persistence, and being in the right herd at the right time. Eventually, it works out, and somewhere behind you, a fresh clutch of eggs gets buried in a shallow pit and abandoned, exactly the way yours was. You'll live for decades after that. Some estimates, built from growth rings in bone, put maximum sauropod lifespans near 80 years, though nobody's entirely sure. What is sure is that the tail that saved your life as a juvenile eventually slows down. The reflex is dull, and one afternoon, decades after that first Allosaurus nearly ended everything, you feel the same grip on the same 6 feet of tail. This time you don't pull free in time. Rule number 1, one last time, except this time it's not a warning. It's just how the story ends. The same way it ends for almost everything eventually, on the Morrison Formation floodplain, 150 million years before anyone's around to dig you up. This has been the life of a Diplodocus. If you liked this one, you'll probably like the last one too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next life.